Dear Venerable Sir and dear friends in the Dhamma, I'm so glad to see you all on this Friday night. I remember the Friday night is a tradition that is started by late Chief Kesri Dhammananda Nayaka Maha Thero. And it's a very important tradition in Malaysia. You don't find that Friday talk tradition in other countries. It's very unique to Malaysia. So I remember giving my first Friday Dhamma talk in PH Henry Hall a long time ago. And on that day before I gave my Dhamma talk, I went to the stupa of late Chief Kesri Dhammananda Nayaka Maha Thero, because I was full of tensions at that time. So I went to that stupa and I asked his permission and his blessings to release my tension. So that is how I relieve my tension when I gave my first Dhamma talk. So just to give you my personal experience. And today I had to talk about talking without tension. And but in front of me, I have Bhante Kamalasari, who I have been known for more than 20 plus years. And so when I was studying in the University of Pemaratana, he was a well-known monk at that time already. So I have learned so much from him. So now I have tensions to talk in front of him. So I had to talk this topic. Yeah, so I had to find another way to relieve my tension. So asking your permission and taking a deep breath. That's a way to release our tension. Yeah. So anyway, so most of our day-to-day conversations and our interactions, and also even important conversations and discussions that we are going to have with our family members, with our friends, with our colleagues, we all have a tendency to develop tensions. And it's very common in most of our conversations. So it's so important to learn how to talk without tension. Even the situation can be a little difficult, and maybe the issue that we are discussing can be very sensitive and personal. It's maybe serious. And so how we can actually talk about the sensitive issue, talk about a difficult topic with our loved ones and with our colleagues and friends. We cannot put important issues always. We cannot keep things covered, and we cannot put everything under carpet. One day or other we have to talk about them. So if we just keep pushing important issues without discussing and talking, we simply add more problems. So we really need to talk and discuss, but how we can do it without tension. So I thought to start with an example from the Buddha. There's a very interesting discourse, sutra, in the Tripitaka. It's called Kasi Bharadwaja Sutta. It's a farmer, by the name of his family name was Bharadwaja. This is a very interesting, there's a very interesting discussion and dialogue happened between the Buddha and this Kasi Bharadwaja. What happened was actually, that was the sowing season. The Kasi Bharadwaja had a very big, paddy field, and he has a lot of, people to work under him. So he organized this big ceremony to plow the ground. So on that day, he had a lot of people, gathered, and they started plowing. And then on that day, Buddha was thinking whom I should help today. So he noticed that Kasi Bharadwaja may be a good candidate today to receive my help. So Buddha waited a good time to go there. That is the meal time. So they work for hours and then they had a break to have some meal. So right at that time, Buddha took his ball, mindfully working across that paddy field, and then came towards that group, carrying his ball. So as soon as Kasi Bharadwaja saw the Buddha with his ball, he was not happy. Of course, you may think that if you see a monk with a bowl coming towards you, you'll be very happy, right? Because you already have a right view, right understanding. You already follow the path. But remember that Buddha did not teach his Dhamma to Buddhists. He has to deal with all kinds of people. There were of course he developed a community gradually, but it took a while for him to develop that community. So this Bharadwaja should have been a person who is critical about all these ascetics, all these renouncers, all these homeless, all those people who have gone into homelessness. There was a tension, there was a criticism about them, because some people criticize those people who become renouncers, who become ascetics, are like they are lazy to work. And I heard that even in Chinese community, when someone wants to become a monk, and many people think that he's lazy to work. Right? Am I correct? But so that's the kind of opinion this Kasi Bharadwaja was having. They don't understand that actually even becoming a monk is not really going for vacation. And becoming a monk is actually having more work than an ordinary person. And look at us, like how many works that we had to do. So anyway, so there's some misconception, among some Chinese community that someone wants to become monk because he is lazy to work. So the Bharadwaja had similar attitude. So when Buddha was carrying his ball and then coming towards him, he got really, really upset and angry. What did he say? He told the Buddha, ascetic Gautama, he addressed by the name, ascetic Gautama, I plow, sow, and cultivate, and I eat. I'm not the one who's going around and carrying a bowl and begging. Actually, it is not recorded there. That's my addition. But why he said that, I sow, I plow, I sow, and I cultivate, and I eat. That is how I eat. Why not you also plow, sow, and cultivate and eat? I think it is such an insult, right? I mean, that may be a kind of worse insult an ascetic can get, when he's going around and carrying his ball, and then someone come and say that, why not you work and you earn and you eat, rather than going around and asking food. That's a big insult. That is what he, did to the Buddha. So when he said to the Buddha, why not you also, grow and cultivate and eat without carrying this ball around? And if someone told you like that, I mean, in your life, someone told you that, what you will feel? Definitely tension, right? And definitely you will feel really upset. And think about other moments in your life. Sometimes people make those accusations to you, like and accusation like maybe you are responsible for some task, and they will blame you. Maybe someone even can blame you, as a mother, as a father. Why not you do this? Why not you do that? Right? And people may accuse you. So this is about identity. As an ascetic, as a monk, that's his identity, to rely on the community. And he's actually really hitting the very sensitive, issue. He's really hitting the identity of the monk. Why not you work hard and eat? So when this person is, saying this, insulting and accusing the Buddha, and of course, being the Buddha, Buddha did not develop any tension, and we will talk about it, how he can stay without developing tension. So when he, accused the Buddha in that way, Buddha was very calm and very attentive to what he has to say. And Buddha quietly replied, "Farmer, I also sow, I also plow, sow, and grow and eat." That was the Buddha's answer. I too plow, sow, and grow and eat. Then he asked, "How come? If you are also a farmer, if you also plow, sow, and cultivate, where is your other tools? I don't see any of your tools. I don't see, your crops. I don't see your, bulls. I don't see your I don't see any of your tools for that." Then Buddha took the opportunity to talk to him and say that, "I also do a cultivation, but it's not the same cultivation as you do. This is what I cultivate." And then Buddha gave a series of lessons, series of verses, uttered a series of verses to explain what kind of cultivation or what kind of work that Buddha is doing. And he said that, even though you can't see my tools, and Saddha is my seed, and Sila is my rain, and the wisdom, the Panya, is my plow-show, and mindfulness is my stick that I will direct my cows, my bulls in the correct direction. And my virya, my strength, is my bulls. So we went in to explain all the spiritual qualities that he was having, to explain how exactly he is doing this form of cultivation. He is also doing a form of cultivation, but not the outer cultivation, but an inner cultivation. And comparing the act of farming and using all the tools and steps of the farming, and explaining exactly how he also do a form of farming, form of cultivation, but within himself. And then he said at the end, as a result of your cultivation, you get rice, you get crops at the end as a result. But as a result of my cultivation, do you know what I get? I get amatapalang, the fruit of deathlessness. The fruit of deathlessness, fruit of nibbana, fruit of vimutti, release, is the fruit that I get as a result of my cultivation. So Buddha was able to convert, or the possibility of having an argument into an important dialogue, an important conversation, and then important moment to teach. So what was the difference between the way that Buddha handled that accusation, and then how we will respond to reply to that kind of accusation? So if we can analyze that, we will get some wisdom. So what I feel that, of course, Buddha being developed the mastery of his own emotions, and then as being enlightened person, there's nothing for him to get hurt. If we accuse like that, our ego will be badly hurt and will be very defensive, right? Buddha was also giving explanation to him that I am also farmer, I also work hard, I also plow and sow and cultivate and eat. But he said that not in a way of protecting or defending his ego, but actually as a way of having a discussion and dialogue, and giving him an opportunity to have a different understanding of life. So what is really important in that conversation we can see is that actually when he accused the Buddha heard not only what he said, but actually what was bothering him, or what he valued, or what was his need. This is a very important insight we should have in our life. When someone was talking to us, We only hear his words coming out from his mouth. But words are only expression of underneath feelings. So when this person accused the Buddha actually, of course, heard his, harsh words and all these words. But the Buddha was able to listen to his heart and to understand what he's expressing, what was his values, that he was frustrated because his values are maybe not respected, not followed, and what was his real need. So when Buddha was able to listen to his, not only to his words, but to his real need underneath that word, and real concern that he was having under his word. His real concern was actually, as responsible citizens, they work hard, they contribute to the economy, they pay taxes, probably maybe, and they work hard and they pay their fair share to the community. And these monks and ascetics do not do anything; they simply become a burden to the society. That could have been his concern, and so Buddha was able to listen to that, his real need and concern, and Buddha was able to answer that, teach him. Actually, monks also do a social service. They also do a big work, very important work that can be beneficial to the whole society. It's not only the material well-being that matters, but actually psychological well-being, it really matters. So Buddha was able to explain that. So that is the challenge that we have when we come to, when it comes to our conversations, that how we can listen to the heart of the person, not only stay within the limits of the words. Because people are not actually skillful or clever to express what they really need. We ourselves are not that clever. We may have a need, we may have a concern, but whenever we want to talk about it, we are not very good at expressing the real need. We may express our frustration. We may express our, upset feelings, but we are not very good at expressing the true concern and true need that is not met. So therefore, we as speakers or talkers, we should develop our ability to listen to the real need that is not met, and this frustration is a crying of asking. Asking to fulfill that need. So that is the challenge. And then we have two challenges. One is when someone is talking to us, how we can go beyond the words and try to listen to his real concern and needs and his emotions. And that's one challenge. And the second challenge is that when we speak to others, when we talk to others, how can we communicate our underneath need, our underneath concern, not actually outward frustration or anger. So those are the two challenges that we have to overcome in our conversations. So I would like to ask you, what are the common mistakes based on this situation, Kasibara, the Sutta, and Buddha actually handled it really well. But when it comes to us, if someone accuses us in the same way, we will respond or reply a completely different way. And what are the common mistakes we do when we speak? What are the common mistakes we do when we speak? Make assumptions. Very good. Yeah, make assumptions. Yeah, not really listening to the actual thing, but we make assumptions. Any other mistakes come to your mind? Protect the person. Oh, yeah. Try to be defensive of the ego, right? Yes, that's the other one. Yes. Any other mistake that come to your mind? Yeah, I think similar to what he said. Yeah, exactly.
We're more trying to tell rather than share.
Yes, our attempt to give advice, tell rather than, exactly, yeah. Any other common mistake that you've found in your life you make when we speak? Yes. Yes, I'm glad that what you have said is what is written here. And one common mistake we do, we label people. We judge and we label people. Like when you talk to people, you say you are lazy, right? I mean, those are you are lazy, you are stupid, you are unkind. Can we really observe someone is lazy? Can you really observe that someone is stupid? You can only observe some activity, some behavior, some of a person. You cannot really see laziness of a person. You may see a person is working slowly. Maybe that is what we can see. But say that you are lazy is our assumption, our labeling. We don't know why he is doing things slowly, right? So whenever we talk with others, we will say, even to your children, you will say this, and definitely you will to your husband and wives, you will say this, and to many people you say this like very quickly, not really telling what you really noticed in that person's behavior. Like maybe you are like you took time to come here, or instead of like really explaining or what you really notice or observe, we simply quickly label. And then, for example, you see you are unkind. You already make an assumption. We already, come to a conclusion and assumption. And this is one mistake. And it's related to others. It's also like similar to that, judging others' behavior. Like other people will behave in a particular way, but we judge what they really mean by that, without even like asking or you ignored me, and you hate me. You are jealous of me. And so, of course, when you talk to a person, maybe he's watching TV, maybe he's reading a book, right? But to say that is you ignoring me is actually judgment from our part, right? And maybe it's closer to the reality, but we still make prejudgment without really. I mean, instead of saying you ignore me, maybe you can say what we really notice, what we really observe. But this is what we do. So we label people, we judge other behavior, and like offering advice without empathizing first. You want just to tell, right? Yeah. And if someone is having trouble, if someone is having a pain, someone has done a mistake, and that person come and tell you, and you are very quick. You shouldn't have done that. He already has done it. So what's the point of saying that you shouldn't have done that, right? And then you say, oh, don't be fear. Don't be afraid. And don't be sad. There's no point of telling anyone don't be sad. Just because you say don't be sad, they will not stop doing that. And also worse saying that don't be afraid. And they'll be more afraid. Right? So I think instead of like, giving advice or warning, if we can simply empathize, I feel your sadness. I know, I can feel that you are really sad. I can feel that you're really upset. Just showing that you understand what is going on in their mind may be much, much better than giving them an advice. Most of the time, people share their problems, people share their sufferings, people share their difficulties with us, not to get an advice. I mean, advice, maybe you can give advice, later, additional. They just want someone else to understand what is going on in their life, right? That is good enough sometimes without giving advice. But in our normal conversation, if we take the burden, we should correct him. We should like give him the advice. So if you are a teacher, like a monk like us, maybe you have more burden to give the advice. But even in our case, we try not to be hurried to give advice. We try first to understand what is going on, and sometimes showing empathy can be the best help we can do to others. So that is one other common mistake we do. And then also the other one is like taking insults personally. When someone make accusation, insults, scolding, it's really, that person is really telling us telling in front of us, really, that accusation is directed at us. But we take all these insults personally, not really understanding what is really going on in that person's mind. And we take it personally, saying that that person is specifically blaming me, targeting me. Most of the time, if people accusing us, blaming us, they are in pain. They are simply expressing that pain. Maybe they have a bad habit of accusing others. So in that case, if they are in pain, the accusation is only expression of underlying pain and suffering. If they have a habit of blaming and accusing in others, and that person is not necessarily specifically blaming me, that is his own habit, he's blaming everyone, I just happen to be the person right now. So in any case, you can take that blame as common thing, not really taking it too seriously and personally. But that's how we take things very personally. So these are the common mistakes. And the other one is implying wrongness and criticism. So when we talk to others, and usually we want to make other people feel guilty. That's what we do, right? Yeah, and so you made me sad. You made me sad, and you made me angry. And we can say all those things, but in reality we know that nobody can make us angry. Of course, others can, provide conditions but it is our own interpretation that really make us angry. But when we talk to others, we try to, imply wrongness and imply, criticism to others. So we really want other person to feel that he's wrong and he's guilty of that. So these common mistakes does not allow us to have a good conversation, and those mistakes develop tension in us and create tension in other persons, and therefore we are all suffering. We all suffer from tensions. So let's try to see how we can overcome from these common mistakes. So I would like to share some teachings from the Buddha. So we need to remember that we are making these mistakes and other people are also making these mistakes. So we have to have, we have to be clever in two ways. One is to understand others, and one is, how we can be skillful in our speech. So Buddha had said, every person is born with an axe in his mouth. Just remember this. If you forget everything that I'm telling you today, if you only remember this, that Buddha has said, every person is born with an axe in his mouth. Unwise person who uses the abusive language cuts himself and others with that axe. This itself can be enough for us to guide our speech in our life. So every person, what do you think? So this is from the Kokalika Sutta. What do you think the Buddha, what is this axe? What is this axe in the mouth? Huh? Tongue. Who would think that this very delicate, very fragile, this soft thing can be an axe? More importantly, Buddha said that, that unwise people cut himself and also others with that axe. It's not only you actually, hurt others with that axe, you are also, hurting yourself. So this is what usually happen in our life. And so remembering that, if you know that you have an axe in your mouth, you better be very careful. One thing about this, a simile given by the Buddha, this, advice given by the Buddha, because axe is a very important tool. You can do so many useful things with this tool. Axe can be really useful. You can make things with the axe. You can, create things with the axe. It's such a useful thing. So any tool can be very, very useful until we use it properly. Right? If you use it improperly, definitely any tool can be a dangerous thing. Right? So So, therefore, with this acts that we have is a very important tool, very useful tool, but how we can use it properly. And then another place Buddha said that speak only the speech that neither torment the self and nor does harm to others, that speech is truly well spoken. So here again we think about how we can speak in a way that doesn't create tension within ourselves and others. And then this is another important saying of the Buddha. He who repays an angry man in kind is worse than the angry man. Who does not repay anger in kind, he alone wins the battle hard to win. He promotes the weal of the both, his own as well as the other. Knowing that the other man is angry, he mindfully maintains his peace and endures the anger of both, his own as well as of others. Even if people ignorant of true wisdom consider him a fool thereby. So other people will consider you as a fool if you are the person who is patient, who is mindful when the other party is angry. And other people wish that you are weak. But Buddha said that is how the ignorant people will tell you. But I will tell you, you win the battle hard to win. And if you are the person who is mindful, who is, maintaining the peace when you realize that the other person is angry, and if you are the person who make the decision, I'm not going to repay in kind, I'm going to take the control of this situation. And we think that speaking loud, shouting back, is the way to control the other person. But if you become agitated, if you become emotionally, excited and agitated, we are not in control of our own speech. We don't know what we will say. Our words is simply coming out from our mouth. So we don't have a control of our words. We don't have control of our behavior, anything. So as a result, we don't control the situation. Though we think that I'm controlling the other person, we are simply playing with our agitation, emotion. No one is in control of the situation. But if you decide to stay focused and calm and mindful, then you have the ability to select what words to say. And then you control the situation. That's what the Buddha did, when he was accused by this person. He was really angry. Probably he was, really shivering and, throwing his anger, and he was out of control and, shouting. We don't know exactly what other words he might have spoken in front of the Buddha. We only have this, rough report. He might have used all abusive words in front of the Buddha. But he was agitated, he's out of control. So, but Buddha was able to control the situation, not by his also shouting back and showing his, strength through the, louder words. But he controlled the situation by bringing mindfulness, bringing, listening to the person clearly, bringing mindfulness. Then he can purposely select where to direct this conversation. So the person who is patient, person who is mindful is in control of the situation, not the person who is shouting back. That is the Buddhist wisdom. So that's why the Buddha said that. If you know the other person is angry, if you decide to be mindful and calm and patient, you control the situation. And you are winning the battle that is hard to win. And you cannot win the situation by simply shouting back. And that is the wisdom that we have to learn. Then Buddha said that there are 5 characteristics of a good speech. A statement endowed with 5 characteristics is well said. That is, when it has to be true, and it is stated politely, and it is beneficial to both parties, and it is said with goodwill, it is coming out from the good intention, and it is stated at the right time. Yes. So these are called the the 5 characteristics of a well-said statement. So we have to ask the question whenever we want to talk, what I'm going to say, is it true? Am I saying the best polite way? Is it how I'm going to say it? Is the tone, the rhythm, is it the best way to say it? Or is it beneficial? Is it really useful, beneficial to talk about this topic? Or am I saying this out of really goodwill? Am I bringing this topic? Am I saying this out of true goodwill for the both party? Or is it the right time to say it? The last one, I really like it. We really have to ask that question. It can be any sensitive matter, very important matter, and you have to ask, is this the right time to say it? Maybe not as soon as the other person come back home from work. Right? Yeah. And maybe, sometimes, no matter how important it is, maybe the other person already had a difficult, argument with, some other person, and he came back home and you are now bringing this issue. Right? So we really have to ask, is it the right time to say it? So this is the ideal speech. Of course, we will not be able to meet all these 5 all the time. But the more condition that you can fulfill, more condition you can be mindful of, and more fruitful that conversation is going to be. And so therefore, try to meet these 5, if you cannot 5 all, at least, try to meet, some of these characteristics. But I would say, always think about the right time. Because you can have all these characteristics, but if you say it in the wrong time, other person will not be able to, get it. So these are the guidelines we can actually have a more meaningful, profitable, fruitful conversation with others. But I would say, all these things can be really quite a bit for you to remember. But I would say that one thing you will remember, the best way, the best tool for us to talk without tension is to listen. That's the only advice I can give you. The key to talk without tension is to listen more. Okay, now you maybe think about to listen to whom? There are 2 parties to listen here. One is listen to oneself. That's more important when we are going to talk an important issue, a difficult issue, a sensitive issue. First, listen to yourself, and then listen to others. This is the key. This is the tool. Listening to oneself and listen to others. What we can listen to oneself, we have to really listen to our own judgments. So I'm going to talk to that person, and am I carrying a judgment? Am I already judge the person? Am I already, make an assumption of the person? Listen to that, catch that, detect that. Even before we talk, you already kind of, make an assumption and judgments, interpretations before we talk. If you carry those assumptions, judgments, interpretation, and we will definitely not have, a good speech. So we have to first listen and catch and feel, catch that. And then, whenever we talk to others, we have to remember that we always interpret what we hear. Sometimes what we interpret, how we take what other person is saying, may not be what the other person may have intended. So we have to be mindful of that too. Carefully listen. Am I really interpreting this thing? Because certain words have different associations to different people. Some people can be very, very sensitive to certain words. Other person may not have an idea. Particularly when you go from different culture to culture, right? We have all different associations. So sometimes other person may not really intend what we really mean when we listen to that. So we have to be very, very mindful of that. So we have to really listen to that. And then we also have stereotypes. Whenever we want to talk to other people, based on the gender, we have stereotypes. Based on, ethnicity, we have stereotypes. And based on age, we have stereotypes. So before we go, we already, have those things in our mind. And of course, this is very common whenever, we want to talk to, our family members. Because we have a lot of experience, past experience with our family members. Moment the other person opened his mouth, we already know, oh, he's going to talk this. So we already make the assumption, we already make the judgment, and that person is talking, but we are not really listening to what that person is telling. We already kind of listening to, repeating our own assumptions, and we don't pay attention to the nuances of that. Maybe he's talking the same topic, maybe he's expressing the same opinion. Maybe he doesn't like that. He doesn't like your neighbor. Maybe now he's again going to talk about the neighbor. He's going to talk about this. So because of our previous assumption, we don't listen to the nuances, the new information that he's telling you. And we already kind of cover it. Therefore, this is very common among our family members. And be careful when children talk to you. Because you have enough experiences and you have a lot of previous, interaction with your children. You already have created this, assumption and stereotypes. And whenever they want to talk about something, you say, Mom, I'm sorry, I did this mistake, and you already, have assumed. And then you don't really listen to what that person is telling loud, or you again lost your handphone. But you don't really listen to the real detail of that, and maybe that this time it may be different. So therefore, it's really important to listen to ourselves. First, listen means be mindful of all our assumptions and judgments. And then next one will be the listen to others. And also listening means actually truly listening. Listening not only to their words, but actually to their hearts, as what the Buddha did. Try to listen to the underlying concern, underlying needs, underlying fears, and not necessarily the outward expressions. And then, because not many of us are not very good at expressing what we really need. Therefore, we really have to be skillful to those. So try to go beyond the words, and that is truly listening to others. So it's about listening to oneself and listening to others. So how to speak without tension is to listen. That's a skill. That's mindfulness. And if we can learn that, if we can learn to listen to our own thoughts, own judgments, and also careful listen to the pain in other person. Any aggressive words, any complaint, even like sometimes any accusation of others is an expression of a pain. Expression of some frustration. So if we can listen to that, then we will be able to really can have a conversation rather than feel offended and develop some empathy. So I think what I have told you, the Buddhist wisdom, is very related to a new this method developed by this method called non-violent communication, developed by Marshall B. Rosenberg. I think he has used a lot of Buddhist wisdom to develop this technique called non-violent communication. So, and all the suttas that I just shared with you has all this wisdom, and it is becoming quite popular in terms of leadership training, and and so I think let's talk a little bit about how Marshall Rosenberg has presented this similar wisdom in different ways. And this nonviolent communication is based on a number of premises. One is what others say and do may be the stimulus or triggers, but never the cause of our emotions and feelings. So what other people say and what other people do can only be a trigger, can only be a stimulus, can only be one condition for our emotions and feelings, but they are not the causes of our emotions. So you cannot say that you made me angry. You cannot say that you made me sad. And two mistakes are done there. One is, we put the blame on the other person. And so it's already we stopped the opportunity to have a conversation because we already put the blame on the other person. Secondly, actually it's not true. Of course, that person has given the condition, has an important factor, but it's our interpretation. So based on that, and then behind intimidating messages are merely people appealing to us to meet their needs. When someone says that you ignored me, we take it as an accusation, right? If someone says you ignored me, you don't care for me, you don't care me, and we take as an accusation. But what really he's saying is that actually he's appealing, I need your attention. That's what he's saying, but he's not clever enough to say that. And he said, you ignored me, you don't care of me. But the real message is actually, I need your attention. But so every intimating message in this, there are like suffering people appealing to meet their needs. All insults, judgments are unskillful expressions of others' unmet needs. Don't take it personally. This is exactly what Buddha did with related to Kasi Bharadwaja. He didn't take it, personally. All insults, judgments are unskillful expression of their unmet, needs. Now you can think about, all the, insults you may have received, these days. And of course, Buddha, these days we are not only taking insult accusation verbally, we also get them in texts, in emails, right? The important thing about the email and text is that actually they come with words without any tone. We are free to have any tone, right? And if someone sent us a text, saying that don't be late, okay? And how many ways we can read it? How many ways we can read it, right? There are many ways we can read it, like don't be late, and we can read it in many ways. Don't be late, right? or we can say, don't be late. We can have any tone to it. So we put whatever tone we want, and so we never get the real message in the text and emails because we put that term. But anyway, so to know that, any insults and any judgments are unskillful expression of their unmet needs. And behind all those messages, accusation and blames, complaints are just individuals with unmet needs appealing to us to contribute to their well-being. Same thing again. So I just want to highlight this, message. So it's like really listening to others, emotion and needs and feelings. When we hear another person's feeling, when we hear another person's feeling and needs, not only to the complaints, when we hear another person's feelings and needs that lie behind their complaints and accusation, we recognize our common humanity. We recognize our common fears, common concerns, so then we can have, we will not be personally, feel offended, we will not take it personally, so we can have some empathy and can have, start conversation. So in non-violent communication, we have 4 principles. Observation, like, really, observe what really bother you, what's the behavior, and what exactly words of the other person that bother you. Observe it without judging it. Simply observing what that other person doing. Instead of saying, he's ignoring me, what you can see is that he is watching TV. That's what you see. It is you who interpret, he ignored me. So you can observe what you really see and try to limit to the real observation of the facts. Don't try to, make a judgment about it. And then whenever you want to express, you talk to others, express your feeling. Express your feeling, not your judgments, but you feel, I feel sad, I feel frustrated, but not, feeling. And then also mainly express your need. What you really need. I need to talk to you. That is your need. Instead of saying that you always don't listen to me. And that's what we say, right? And we don't really express our real need, And our real need is I want to talk to you. And also like make that request. And don't make a demand, like you should listen to me. Instead of demanding, maybe we can like make a request. And other person becomes quite empathize when you make a request rather than demand. So these are the pro principles. Anyway, so okay, so we are going to do some exercise. Okay, if someone say you don't care me, what does that person really mean? Yes. And if you want to, let's say you feel like that, other person is not caring for you. And how we can express this? Instead of saying you don't care me, how we can express our real need? Instead of, this is like accusation, putting the blame. We already making a judgment that person is not caring me, and then you are making this accusation. Instead, what we can say? Okay, this is a long one, but okay, this is really like non-violent communication. Don't worry, you don't have to do it all the time. But whenever you say you don't care for me, according to the principles of non-violent communication, this is what's really happening. I notice that you are on your phone during the dinner time. That's what you observe, and it is you who said you don't care for me. Okay, and I feel neglected because I need connection and presence during our shared moment. Would you be willing to put your phone away and when we eat? This will be the perfect expression. Like in meeting all the 5 characteristics of the Buddha. Remember the 5 characteristics of the well-said statement? So this is like perfect meeting of all these 5 characteristics. But of course, in practical life, we cannot expect everyone to be like that. But let's see what we can do. Okay? For example, you never listen to me. You always say this, right? So instead of saying this, what's the other way that we can really say the same thing, but not in a form of accusation or blame, but as a way that we can really get the person to understand and have a change in that person's behavior. So instead of like expressing our frustration, can we express our need? Can we express our need? You never listen to me. What do you need? You need that person's attention, right? So instead of saying you never listen to me, can you say, I noticed when I was speaking, you looked at your phone. Okay, but maybe that's one way. I mean, maybe you can say this, real fact. So because when you say you never listen to me, you already make a judgment, already make a generalization. What you really notice is that when you talk to the person, he was checking his phone. That's all you saw. So how you can already judge and he never listened to me and make generalization, right? And you say, I noticed, I was speaking, you looked at your phone, right? And then you can make a request, can we talk for a minute? Yeah, most probably, you can have some conversation. When you say you never listen to me, and there'll be defense, there'll be, all the justification and in defense, words coming from the other person's mind. Okay, you made me angry. So what will the most skillful way to say this? Can anyone make you angry in real sense? No. But others can provide condition for us to be angry. So instead of you made me angry, can you truly express, our own feeling? I was frustrated. That is really that's true. Not really you made me angry, but I was frustrated because I was having difficulty communicating with you when you were checking your phone. And this is true. Like you were frustrated. Maybe they can express that. I was frustrated. Not really saying that you made me angry. You can say, I felt. So you take the responsibility. I felt frustrated. I felt ignored. You don't say that you ignored me. You genuinely express, I felt ignored by you. Other person may not necessarily done it purposely, but you can express your true feeling, but not really already putting the blame and the judgment on the other person. You see how difficult to speak properly? We can understand how difficult for us to express our real need. So this is the common with everyone else. So we are all in trouble. I mean, as human beings, we have this very special ability to communicate. We have sophisticated language. We are the best communicators in the world when you think about all the other creatures. But you see how lousy we are when it comes to communication. We have to really have to learn a lot in that case. So, too much effort. Actually it's an effort because it's a good point, brother. It's an effort because we have learned habits. It is an effort to go against our habitual patterns that we have already developed. That is why it's so much of effort. But the more we practice it, and after a while, it becomes the norm. It becomes a default mode in us, and that is what we see, among the enlightened, masters, enlightened, teachers, that how they communicate. So definitely an effort because right now we have to unlearn what we have learned so far. You make me so frustrated. How we can praise it wisely? You make me so frustrated. What will be the true statement, more authentic statement? I felt frustrated when you're looking away. It's more true to the fact, authentic, and other person, tend to, engage with you more if you say that. Instead of say, you made me frustrated, other person is already trying to protect his ego. But when you say, I felt frustrated when you were doing this, and then that person is willing to look into his own behavior and willing to engage in conversation. Yeah, I feel frustrated when I'm interrupted, and then you can also express your need because I want to be heard. Yeah, it's so much work. But let's simplify it. Okay, can we do this? Stop ignoring me. How you can say it more skillfully? Because you already made a judgment that person is ignoring you. You can be specific. How you know that he's ignoring you? Because he's doing something else when you are talking to him, right? So you can say that. Not really make a judgment that he's already ignoring you, right? So instead of saying that you stop ignoring me, you can make a request. Could we set aside some time to talk without distractions? Right? This is like a request, like an invitation request. Yeah. Okay, now I really want you to do this. Okay. Now you are good at this, right? Now you're good at this, really express our real need and not putting the blame to anyone. Okay. You are always late. It's so frustrating. How to replace this as a skillful talker? Any suggestion? Here, when you say you are always late, what we are doing there? We are making a generalization, like we are always late, as if we already kind of, take all his, interactions, and we are making a generalization, we are making a judgment, right? So you are always late, and it's so frustrating. That is quite okay, but when you say you made me frustrated, sometimes you say that, yeah. So what is a skillful way to replace this?
You be more on time.
Okay, yeah. So that is a request. Can we express our need before we make the request? It's very important to express our need and then make the request. What is our need? Yes.
Your timely arrival will help.
No. I mean, no. First, let's express our need. Okay, so we can say, "Can you be on time?" Okay, why we need that person to be on time? What is our need?
That's what I'm saying. You don't listen to me. I said, if you come on time, then we can all improve the situation.
Oh yes. So say it first. I would like to do things efficiently. That's your need. I would like to finish things efficiently. Can you come on time? So when you express your need, then the other person start to feel, the empathy. And always make the request after you express the need. Then we will be very successful. Okay. Okay, when someone said this to you, when someone said this to you, you are always late. It's so frustrating. Okay, earlier we did the exercise as a skillful speaker, talker, how you replace it. But now, can we play the other role? Someone is telling us, you are always late. It's so frustrating. How, as a good listener, as a skillful, as an empathetic listener, we know that all these expressions, all these accusations are actually expression of unmet needs. Okay, so when you are a speaker, you have a responsibility to express your real need, but we cannot expect that skillfulness from everyone. When someone tells you that you are always late, it's so frustrating. As an empathetic listener, how we can understand this? What this person is really telling us?
Time is wasted.
And this person is telling you time is wasted?
You're late. You're wasting his time.
Yes. That is again our again evaluation of it. But when someone says that you're always late, it's so frustrating. What is his real need? Huh? Attention or his? Why he's worried about his time? What he really needs?
I was elated. This is my pioneer and virgin time coming, and I am very lucky to get a lecture from such an authoritative talk. But the question, you are always late and it's frustrating. This happened always with me as a head during the COVID period.
Okay.
Now, when he comes late, the other days go late. When she went late, she got into an accident.
Yeah.
So what I told him, Mr. X, it is not because he came late, she got into accident, but please, everybody come on time so that they will have enough sleep. Now, secondly, the problem with my wife, when I go back late, she said, your work should finish at 5, you are coming at 3. Why don't you sleep at the hospital instead of coming back? I was tired and exhausted and hungry, but I didn't want to show any emotion. But she was able to see my attention, my emotion.
Yes.
And I went down, I did not see.
Yeah.
The next day, I sat with her and I discussed.
Very good.
And I told her, now you see, this is a specific time. I have to go under the instruction of government. And I couldn't able to come then the others as a HOD. You please understand. If you have a problem, you do discuss. So she said, oh, that means I have a problem, can discuss with you, right? So one day, after some time, when I was back, she was too nice. And she was having a discussion with me.
Yes.
I said, wonderful. Please tell the issue.
Yeah.
No, you are staying in Kuala Lumpur. I am staying in Penang. can I make the kitchen into a room and rent it out and I eat from there? Because he said can discard one. So I wait again. Silence is the best answer. The third thing, she will start saying, you, she says, no use. You will be silent, dead like an iron, or will be good. Then I'll be telling good. Now, you say, the X. My boss has a laser. Now, he has a laser because that is an order during the COVID. You have to repeat the same thing. So, those people who are listening, he will be talking, he will be talking the day, so they will be, and he gets irritates, and he got irritated with a person, and he said, hey, Miss X, and it was very loud, and she did not come for 2 days. So I told my boss, I would like to go and visit her and find out what's the problem. So I went and asked her, he really embarrassed me in front of others. Actually, I could not hear when he was calling. So when I did the test, she was actually having hearing impairment. That's why during the discussion, listening, you must see what are the problems that they think and must be attentive. And if you are not clear, be very humble. Sir, may I do clarify? Instead of you make your own judgment, and that judgment you pass to others, and the whole thing go up and
down. Yeah. Thank you, brother, for sharing, that experience, and we deeply appreciate your commitment, during that, difficult period, working extra hours, So I think, so much to learn from that, and this is again, a skillful listening. When your wife complain you that, why you come so late, why not you stay at the hospital? That is what that is coming out from her mouth. But do you really know what she really needed? She really needed you to be at home. That is what she's telling. So she's saying that why don't you stay at the hospital? But what was her real need was she likes for you to come home early and be with her. Be happy about that. No. That's what she really need. So when she said that, actually, why not you stay at the hospital? We had to be skillful to listen to her real need, that she really need me. She really needs me. Yeah.
Psychological, I thought that was the good intention of my good wife. But actually, she went travel away, and she put it in such a way, I am worried. When you come at 3, I do not know on the way you are accident or not. Then I told her, if that is so, I can't carry phone inside the theater. You just WhatsApp, at least every 1 hour I will pretend to go to the lavatory and answer you. Will that be alright to you?
Very good. Exactly. So I think we had to first empathize, definitely, if she's worried, and we really, you have made a good request and good suggestion, and first to empathize. So I think all the frustrations are actually, real unmet needs. So we have to be very mindful to listen to that need. So I'm so glad that she at least expressed that she's worried. She's not angry. The anger is expression of her worry. So she did say that she's worried. That's very skillful, right? And first you say, don't worry. That's what we say. It's not helping. And then we have to first empathize. Yes, I understand. You have deep concern for me, and then I understand that. Let's see what we can do. So if we show the empathy to her, worries, and then she's more willing to, talk. And you are really lucky husband. That's all I have to say.
Thanks for your love, but I hope you understand if I come even later or time I made sleep, I hope you understand now, and I assure you, when the whole scenario is over, I will take you to a trip, which I did not do till today.
So maybe today we can make a determination to do it.
I'm only 83, so no money here.
Yes, okay. Okay, so if someone say that you are always late, it's so frustrating. Okay, and then we have to listen to the real unmet need of that person. That person need to get things done on time. That's his real need. You know, he will have to finish things. So instead of try to defend ourselves, we can show empathy. Like, are you feeling angry because you need your work to be done faster? Just say that, and quickly that person will relate to you. And I mean, you're always late. It's so frustrating. And are you angry because you need your work to be done faster? Ask that question. Show the empathy. Then he will definitely engage, and then we can come up with some plan to do work. So again, we can. Are you feeling hurt because you need some understanding of your work stress? So I'm just showing that actually showing some empathy can help us a lot, you know. So rather than taking it personally, taking it as a blame, and we just try to listen to the need. So we have two challenges actually. This is a quote from Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh: "The most precious gift we can offer to anyone is our attention. When mindful embraces those we love, they will bloom like flowers." So the only way we can change, difficult personalities, complaining personalities, is actually give our attention, and that will change everything. But again, this is the two things. I mean, in order to talk without tension, the one thing you have to do is to listen. Listen to oneself and listen to others more. Deep listening. And we have two challenges. One is how to express our needs, our concerns, not our frustration and anger. How we can be skillful in expressing what we really need. The second one is how to listen, how to understand other people's needs, other people's concerns, going beyond the words coming out from their mouth. When we are good at that, we will have ability to speak without tension. So thank you very much for your attention. You gave me attention. Maybe we can have a few minutes for discussion. We already kind of started the discussion, but we can go forward. Yeah.
One question for me.
Yes.
Here we're talking about replying without tension. If you do not reply at all and keep silent, is there an option?
And he said that is the best answer at one time. But I think, actually, it is practicing the last factor in the 5 characteristic. Sometime we have to be silent, but not to be silent all the time. So be waiting for the right time to say it. So there are certain situations that silence is the best answer, but doesn't mean that we should not talk about it at all. So maybe we just buying time, waiting for the correct time to say it. Yes.
When silent, yes, you are silent. When we call attention, even your facial reaction itself, part of tension, we call non-verbalic.
Yes.
So when you are silent, show sympathetic face.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Showing the face, and then, and showing that you are listening. Yeah, and not ignoring, right? Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
And I think it's mainly about, the gift that we can give anyone is our attention, and to have full mindfulness at every single moment.
Say again? Yeah.
To have full mindfulness at every single moment when you are dealing with a particular issue or with a person. But I think when, let's say, you don't have anything fighting for your attention and you've only got one issue to deal with, then that's quite possible.
Yes.
But if there are multiple things that are, just demanding your attention, and everything is time sensitive. I think that's where the challenge is, like, and you would love to give everything, right, your 100%, but, you know, due to...
Difficult,
So I think that one can be a bit of a challenge.
Challenging,
again.
yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. I think, you know, this definitely when we have so many things to deal with, so many people to handle, and definitely it's challenging. But I think we can, how we can practically do this is actually at any given point of time, on that moment, we give our full attention to that person who's in front of us, right? So we are not really completely focusing only on that thing, but in a given time, we can give full attention. It is like, you know, remember that, you know, three important questions for the emperor. You know, what is the most important time? You know, that means most important time is now, and who is the most important person? The most important person is person right in front of you. And what is the most important thing to do is to care. Right? So therefore, we may have a lot of people to take care, we have a lot of issues to handle, take care. But at a given time, whatever that is surfacing right in front, you know, so for that moment we give our full attention, and then quickly we shift attention to the next thing after we deal with this for some time. Yeah, that's all we can do in our practical life, you know. Right? Thank you.
How do you have conversations with people who only think that their views are right, the only right one, and it's further reinforced because he says that I bring in the results. My method of yelling, blah, 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 brings the results.
Yeah.
So how do you have conversations with people like that?
Do we really have to change them?
It affects a lot of people emotionally.
Yeah. So I think, you know, of course, you know, we may meet, a strong opinionated, you know, people who are not willing to, look at themselves and change. So we had to feel compassionate for them because, you know, they will not change, and as a result, they don't have opportunity to grow. So then we had to think, you know, and am I here to protect myself, to help myself? Am I here to like change them? So definitely, how I think your question is how we can deal with such people, right? So if you know that that person is a strong opinionated person, and don't even try to change, and just, you know, and then we try to, you know, save our own energy, right? Yes.
Bhante, on that issue today, everybody can see a classic example in America. Elon Musk standing there saying the most stupid things in the world, and yet there are so many people cheering for him because of his success. You know, and people who can think, people who can differentiate right from wrong, can tell that he is wrong, and yet people who don't do that, they cheer for him. The same with Donald Trump. You know, making the most unwise or most stupid statements, like claiming that Ukraine was the one who invaded, who started the war with Russia. I mean, things like that, and yet people are cheering for him because he has a certain level of success in his history. And people see that, you know, as this person must be right. And that's actually how people are reacting to Elon Musk, you know.
Yeah, maybe that's how people are reacting right now. Right now, how long? How long will be that, you know, honeymoon? How long will be that honeymoon? Let's see, you know, how long that honeymoon. So I'm supposed to fly back to US.
Bhante, I was really sympathizing with the question.
Yes.
Because she feels he is authoritative, he is a laser, and he is an X. We cannot go. And Bhante, and you said you don't change.
Yeah.
If we don't change, he is going to change a bigger organization. So what I did was that I will be very quiet. But whenever we have function, like his birthday function and all that, when you do a token of appreciation, then you tell its mistake in a very nice manner.
Okay, very good. You said affectionately, right? Yeah. Yeah, you appreciate whatever little bit goodness, but at the same time you point out the, yeah. Thank you, brother, Thank you very much for all of your sharing. So I hope that, you will, start to talk differently, from now on and from tomorrow. And, we have a lot to, to gain from learning how to speak well. And then we can really improve our relationships. We can really bring down, our suffering, our tensions by, using these techniques. Let us be skillful, that is, using the right and skillful speech. So I wish that may you all be able to have less tension when you talk. We will not be able to have without tension completely, but less tension. So with that, let us conclude our session by sharing the merits. By coming to this talk and listening to the Dhamma, we were able to, contemplate and reflect on the teachings of the Buddha. And we also make determinations to improve our speech, our behavior. By doing that, we have generated so much good karma, good merits in our heart. Let us now share these merits with everyone else. First of all, let us recall to our mind our ancestors, our grandparents and parents and family members who have passed away. Let us feel grateful towards them and share our merits with them all. We also share these merits with our teachers, our spiritual masters and other teachers who have guided us and showed us the correct path. May they all share these merits. May they continue their journey towards the enlightenment. May they all be well, happy and peaceful wherever they may be.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for this excellent sharing. And without driving back without tension. No road rage. So, on behalf of the committee management and the monks of the Buddhist Maha Vihara, let me take this opportunity to thank Bhante Pemaratana. This will be his second last talk. He will give one more talk on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. The title is How to Overcome Poverty, both spiritual and material. So that'll be at 10 a.m. coming Sunday, here in the same hall. After which we will go on a pilgrimage, Bhante and a few of us, to India, and then Bhante Kamalasiri here will be taking care of the Dhamma talks. I think he'll be giving 4 talks over a span of 2 weeks. Bhante will be here till 10th of March. So in our absence, can you please support Bhante Kamalasiri? He's here for the first time in Malaysia. He's also from the States. So we're very proud and happy that Bhante Kamalasiri is here. Bhante, I have to say all this because I won't be here to say it. So, and give you some publicity and some promotions. Bhante will be speaking on 4 topics. It's already out. The posters are already out. So please check your WhatsApps and your Facebook pages and also on the notice boards. So we look forward to seeing you on Sunday at 10 a.m. for Bhante's last Dhamma talk. For this year. Last talk for this year. Sadhu.